Morning grade 11s. This is Mr. Chowke. If you're watching this, you're definitely at the right place. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button on your right hand side. And I promise you that after watching this, your academic problems of accounting will be a thing of the past for manufacturing. Now, in this lesson, we're going to do the following. We're going to calculate raw material used for production. We're going to calculate factory overheads, work in progress, finished stock, and then we are also going to do an independent question that is focused on explaining why it is important to do break-even point. We will also calculate break-even point and also comment on the level of production that was achieved by the business. But for now, this is what we are going to start with. We are going to start with with the first part. So here now, firstly, you are required to calculate the raw material cost issued for production. So what you need to do when you deal with a question like this, you need to make sure that you start with the basics. Now, remember, here they're saying that Mongezi manufacturers manufacture and sells. So they manufacture and sell soccer and netball balls, and then the financial year ends on 30 June 2021. Number one, we are supposed to calculate raw material that was used for production or issued for production, and this is for 4 marks. So that's what we are going to start with. Now, we know that when we calculate the raw material stock used for production, we need to consider opening balance. We add our purchases, we add carriage on purchases, we subtract returns if they were there, and then we also subtract our closing balance, and then that will give us raw material that was issued or used for production. Okay, so we are going to start keeping that format in mind. Our opening balance here is 138,800. So I'm going to record that. So we'd have that 138,800, and then we are going to plus the raw material that was purchased. According to the information, raw material purchased for cash is 382,000. So we're going to say plus 382,000, and then we are also going to add carriage on purchases. If you look at here, we have carriage on purchases of raw materials for cash, which is 11,600. So it means that we are going to say plus 11,600. So say plus 11,600, and then we are also going to check if there's any there's nothing. So it means even also on the additional information there's nothing, so it means we're going to subtract our closing balance, which is 73,600. So we're going to say minus 73,600, and then it will give us the raw material that was used or issued for production. So when we calculate that, we're going to do it as follows. We're going to say 138,800 plus 382,000, and then we also say plus 11,600, and then we subtract 73,600, which give us 458,800. So our raw material issued for production is 458,800, and in doing that, you are done with the first 4 marks. Next, they want us to calculate the factory overheads account. Now, in terms of factory overheads, what we need to do, you are going to deal with the transaction as follows. I suggest that you start by recording transactions for the year. You enter the information and then you go to the adjustments, because that's what will help you to finish quickly. Okay, now remember, for factory overheads, we are looking at expenses of the factory that are not in relation to production. So it means those expenses are happening in the factory, but they are not directly involved in production of goods and services that are sold by the factory. Okay, so now we will start with the easiest one that we know. We know that for the end of the year here, it's 30 June 2021. So we are going to write 2021 June the 30th. Then we start with indirect material, and then our information here tells us the balance at the beginning for indirect material is 23,600. So it means we're going to start by that. We'll say 23,600 plus indirect material purchased for the year. Material purchased for the year here was 69,200. So we'll say plus 69,200, and then we minus the closing balance. If you remember, there was no transaction about indirect material, so we minus that 16,800. Okay, and then it will tell us how much was used for indirect material. So you say 23,600, you say plus 69,200, and then you minus 16,800, which gives you 76,000. And then with indirect material we are done. And then the next account that we are supposed to deal with, here we are also given direct wages. So what you need to do, you can check where you are going to need to use that. Remember, in your work in progress, you have to start by your opening balance. So I think maybe it's best if you just enter what you are given here. You enter the opening balance. So remember, opening balance is 1 July 2020. So it means here would have 2020 July the 1st. Then we have our balance brought down, which is according to our information. Our balance brought down for work in process is 31,200. So that 31,200 will come here, and then we're going to have, these will happen at the end of the year 2021, June the 30th. Remember, we are supposed to have direct material, we are supposed to have direct labor, and then we are also supposed to have factory overheads. And then here at the end of the year, remember 2021 June the 30th, we are supposed to have finished goods. And then so after having direct labor, direct material, and factory overheads, remember here we are supposed to have our total here, and then at the top here we have our balance carried down, which will become your balance brought down for next year. Okay, then already by doing this you have already earned some marks. And then you can also go to your finished goods account. If maybe you struggle with recalling how to enter information, start with what you have at the beginning. So remember 2020 July the 1st, balance brought down, it's given. So this one was given, our balance brought down for finished goods was 93,200. So you enter that 93,200, and then you know that under on the debit side you are also supposed to have a work in process. So you write that work in process that you are going to have. Okay, and then we know that after this you do your totals, and then you have your here at the end of the year, which is 2021 June the 30th, you'd have your balance carried down, which will be your balance brought down for 2021. Okay, and then you have your balance brought down. And then here we know that at the end of the year 2021 June the 30th, you are supposed to have cost of sales. So in doing this, it will help me to know exactly what do I need to look for, so that now when I get information I just transfer. Okay, so this one we have already done it, the 458,800. So you might as well take it to the relevant place here. That 458,800 here is where you will record it. Okay, then you have already scored some few marks. So the next transaction says that our direct wages is 368,000. So we are going to enter it straight in the work in progress account, that 368,000. Sometimes they will want you to calculate it on your own, or they will calculate it for you, so it will depend on how it was given to you. Next, we have wages of a factory cleaner. We'll come back to this one. We have salaries of sales staff. This one is not included. We have advertising is not included. We have rent expense. Rent expense, we know the factory will hire a building, so we'll come back to that. I'll write that rent expense now. So under our factory overheads, we'll have our rent expense. So we'd have rent expense, and then we will have that, I think it's 46,400. We have that 46,400, and then from there, next transaction, we have factory maintenance for 26,000. So I'm going to write it straight. We'll have our factory maintenance, and then this one was given straight. It doesn't need any adjustment. So our factory maintenance is 26,000. We just need to check after this if there will be any adjustments that we need to make. Okay, and then from there, we are given water and electricity. We know the factory will use water and electricity, so we just need to open. So we have water and electricity, and then it's 50,000 there. Okay, let me do this. Would have water and electricity, and then that 50,000, I'll put it in brackets. Okay, and then after this, we have depreciation on machinery, which is 26,400. So that depreciation, it is, the amount says that it's 26,400, so it is that 26,400. And then we also have, okay, this one for sales, we'll use it. And then once you're done with this, what you need to do, you can go to your adjustments. They are going to help you to be able to calculate your information. Okay, now let's deal with the adjustments. So the first adjustment says that rent must be allocated in proportion to the floor space occupied. The factory uses 600 square meters, and then the office area uses 400 square meters. So in a total, they use all of them use 600 plus 400, which gives us 1,000 square meters. So it means if we want the one for the factory, we need to get 600 out of 1,000. Okay, so for rent expense here, we'll say multiply by 600 divide by 1,000, and then it will tell us how much they are supposed to pay for rent. So if we say 46,400 multiply by 600 divide by 1,000, it gives us 27,840. And then the next adjustment says that the cleaner spends 20% of his time cleaning the administration block, and the rest factory cost must be allocated according to time spent in each department. So here what they did, they gave us the salary of the factory cleaner, right? I mean the salary of the cleaner at admin, and then at admin we know he spends 20%. So this 7,600 is equals to 20%. What we want is 8. So what we are going to do, we can call this indirect labor, we are going to say 7,600 multiplied by 80 over 20, because they gave you 20. You use Cremora for this, so 7.6 multiplied by 80 divided by 20, it gives us 30,400. And then after this, we are then going to go to the following. They are saying that the factory uses 75% of water and electricity. So for the factory, for water and electricity, we are going to multiply it by 75 divided by 100. Okay, so let's see. If we say 50,000 multiplied by 75 divided by 100, it gives us 37,500. Okay, and then next, let's see if there are any adjustments that we have omitted for this. When I look at this, there's nothing else. These two, we'll use them at a later stage. So far we have recorded everything here. So what I'm going to do, we close this up. Okay, so here it will still be 26,400, and then here it will be 26,000. Not sure if there's anything that changed that we did not record, so we are just going to try and add what we have here. So we have 76,000 plus 27,840 plus 26,000, and then also plus 37,500, and then plus 26,400, and then plus 30,400, which give us 224,140. So we'll put that total here, 224,140, 224,140 here, and then here we'll write 2021 June 30, and then we'll write work in process, then we write the same amount, 224,140. And then remember, in the working process account, we are supposed to transfer that total 224,140. Okay, and then after this we go to additional information. Next, they're saying that 14,300 units were produced at a cost of here they made a mistake. It is supposed to be 70, but unfortunately I don't have that updated relab. So here I just need you to know that it's 70 instead of 140. So it means this will help you to get that finished goods amount that you will write in the working process. Okay, so in that working process we are going to say 14,300 multiplied by 70, and then it will give us that finished goods amount in the working process. So 14,300 multiplied by 70 rand gives us 1,001,000. Then from here we totalize. So if you say 31,200, you say plus 458,800, and then you say plus 368,000, and then you say plus 224,140. It gives you 1,082,140, 1,082,140. And then when we say that answer minus 1,000,000 1,001,000, it gives us 81,140, 81,140. Okay, then after this we have our finished goods, this amount that we are supposed to write in the finished goods account. When we do the transfer, we are going to write the same amount, that 1,100,000 or 1,001,000. then we add the total. So obviously this will be the bigger side. So 93,200 plus 1 million, it gives us 1,094,200. So 1,094,200. Okay, now we need to get cost of sales. They gave us information about that. They said cost of sales is equals to 70% of sales. Now here they gave us commission, and they are telling us that our commission is 3% of sales. So it means we need to uh, use Cremora. So you are going to say you start by that part first. 41,400. You multiply it by 100, divide by 3, and the answer that you get, you multiply it by 70 over 100. It will give you your sales, your cost of sales. So if you say 41,400 multiplied by 100 divided by 3, it gives us 1,380,000, and then we multiply this by 70 divided by 100. It gives us 966,000. So our cost of sales is this one. And then from there, when you balance, you say 1,094,200, 1,094,200. You take it and then you subtract 966,000. It gives you 128,200. I hope this makes sense. And then after this, guys, you have to calculate break-even point. So in terms of calculating, they ask you why is necessary to calculate break-even point. So you tell him that it will help him to know how many units he must produce to cover expenses and also making profit. Okay, and then the next one, they want you to calculate the break-even point. So remember, in terms of break-even point, you are going to say it's your total fixed costs divide by contribution per unit, which is selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. So to get that, you need to use the information that they gave you here. So our total fixed costs, when we look at this, is our factory overheads and admin. So it means you're going to say 6,860 plus 700, 6,860 plus 700. You divide by our selling price per unit. According to here, our selling price per unit was given as 28 rand here. So you say 28 divided by 28 minus here they told you your variable cost, direct material cost per unit is 10 rand, and then your direct labor is 6 rand, and then your selling and distribution is 3 rand. So if you add them, they're going to give you 19 rand. So here you'll minus by 19, and then it will give you if you say 6,860, you say plus 700, it will give you 7,560. Here it will be 7,560. You divide it by 19, then it will tell you how many units. So 7,560 divided by 19. Sorry, not 19. Let me check something. 6,860 plus 700, it gives us 7,560. And then when we say 28 minus 19, it's 9. So here we are supposed to have 9. The difference between the two, remember, it's 9. So after subtracting this, you would have 9 here. So it will be that amount divided by 9 here. So 7,560 divided by 9, it gives us 840 units. So it means they need to produce 840 units so that they can cover the expenses. So here they're saying that we need to comment on the level of production that is achieved by Katlego. So here what we need to do, we need to compare. If you look at this units produced, here they made a mistake. This is 2021. Units produced is 1,100. So he produced 1,100 units, and then he needs 840 units to cover expenses. So if you look at this, then it means he makes profit on if you say 1.1 minus 840, so he makes profit on 260 units. Then you have answered the question. I hope that this makes sense, guys, that as you practice on your own, you'll be able to recall how this was done. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. If you want me to become your online tutor, you can call me on 0730363208. Okay, and then our lessons start from 500. Thank you so much for watching. May God richly bless you. Shalom.